Also from Residence Life and Housing, here is our Associate Director, Hunter Raucher. Want to say anything?
Oh, sure. Hey, I'm Hunter. I'm the Associate Director for Residence Life and Housing. So like Cece mentioned, I oversee some of the housing assignment process. So while Cece's working with you all this summer, I can jump in and help out. And I also oversee the residence life portion of our department. So I deal with our RAs and our area coordinators, stuff like that. So if I can be of service, just let me know.
Thanks, Hunter. Also, I am a UMW alum, so I graduated from Mary Washington in 2019, and I have stayed here working in residence life. So yeah, if you have any questions about student life as well, I'm here. So a little bit about what we're going to go over tonight. We are going to get into the housing portal and kind of walk through the housing application so that if you haven't seen it yet, you'll kind of have an idea. If you have seen it already, then maybe some of your questions will get answered. We will probably save most of the questions for after we kind of walk through that housing application and talk about the housing process generally, but feel free, if you think of a question, please throw it in the chat. Stephen and Hunter will be monitoring that, and we will get to your question as soon as we can. So we are here for housing. The housing application is open in the housing portal. So if you should have gotten your email about that from admissions, giving you your net ID and your housing portal link to get into the housing portal. The deadline for the application, so just kind of a date to keep in your mind, is going to be May 15th. So you have 2 months to complete your application and select any roommates. That's going to be the asterisk. You're going to want to select your roommates by May 15th. And we'll send out assignments in early June. So that's a little bit about your timeline there, a couple months, and then assignments in early June. So with that, I think, unless Hunter, there's anything else you want to say about the process, we can jump in.
No, I think we're good. Somebody has already asked, are we going to be discussing the meal plans? And it's not part of the presentation per se, but we will certainly answer questions about it as we go. Unless Cece, I don't know if you had prepared anything for meal plans.
So we can talk about meal plans if you want. Pretty standard answer there. All of our first year students will have what's called the Eagle meal plan. And so the Eagle meal plan is going to be unlimited swipes and our dining hall on the top of the university center. And it's going to be a certain amount of flex dollars to spend at our other retail dining locations on campus. So like you're transitioning from home, like you're at home, you can go grab a snack at the UC, the University Center Dining Hall, whenever you want to, as long as it's open. And then you'll get to kind of decide how you want to spend your flex dollars at our retail locations. We have a Panera, which I visited earlier today. We have Bocelli's Pizza, we have sushi, we have a bunch of great options. Cool. All right, I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to be looking at the second screen, but I'm still right here. Okay, you guys see the housing portal screen? Hunter? Okay, cool. So this is the housing portal. This is what you are going to see when you log in. So you're going to go to the on-campus housing and dining application. You will then click apply. Your information on the first page is going to be a lot of general directory information: name, birthday, numbers, emergency contact. That one's pretty self-explanatory. We send you emails sometimes as Residence Life and Housing. They might be informational emails. They might be, hey, make sure you take a look at this other email you got. They might be asking you a question. They might be letting you know about an event. In any case, we want to address you by the name that you want to be called. So this page gives you that option. My full name is Cecilia. I go by Cece, and so I put Cece here. Accommodations. So we do have an Office of Disability Resources on campus. The Office of Disability Resources will take requests for academic accommodations as well as housing accommodations. If you are interested in working with the Office of Disability Resources, we would highly encourage you to reach out to them. Alex, their director, is great. And if you have any questions about housing accommodations, please just let us know. All right, so the first year building preference. There are 4 first year buildings on campus, and all of our first year students will live in a first year building. You are able to preference your residence hall preferences. You're able to rank them from 1 to 4 on this page. And so you can go onto the Residence Life website, take a look at our first year halls, and you will select your preference however you prefer. So I'm going to add in my preferences here. You are going to have to add all 4. Teresa, it looks like might have her hand up.
Yeah, I have a question about this part. I was trying to do it by myself, and I know one of the options for freshmen is the all girls ones, but in the options here, it doesn't show up.
Yes, that is a great point. And I'm going to answer your question when we go to the next page. Even if you are going to indicate that you do want to participate in the all-female community or in our LGBTQ plus community, you're still going to want to list your preferences. So I'm going to add my 4th preference here and then click continue. Before we get on to the special community options, let's chat a little bit about our building preferences and how they're going to work with your room assignments. So anyone who applies before May 15th, which is our deadline, is going to have an equal chance of getting their top hall. Monica, you can change your housing preference before May 15th. Hunter might have already answered that, but I just said. So anyone who applies by the deadline is going to have an equal chance of getting their top hall. The way this is going to work is that all of our applicants by the deadline are going to receive a random number. The housing portal is going to use this order to assign you to housing. When the housing portal gets to your number, so if you're number 1, you're going to be the first person assigned by the portal. It's going to put you in a building and it will go down the line just like that. If it gets to your number, say your number 300, and your preferred building is full, it's going to place you in your next building. If you have roommates, your roommate will be assigned with you. We can definitely chat about that more later if you have questions. All right, so our next page, and this is going to answer Teresa's question from earlier, is our special community options. And so outside of those 4 first-year halls, there are 2 other communities that you can opt into if you would like. They do have limited space, so please do opt in if you are interested, and we will reach out to you and contact you with some more information about how getting assigned to these communities works. Your LGBTQ plus community option is going to be listed on this page. If your gender is female in the housing portal, you are also going to see an option to opt into an all-female community. Okay, the roommate matching questionnaire. So on this page, the top question is a screen name for the roommate search tool. You may be wondering what exactly that means. The name that you put here is the name that other first-year students are going to be able to see in the housing portal as they are searching for roommates. So you can make it whatever you want. Just keep in mind that as people are looking for roommates, this is the name that they're going to see and reach out to. So this questionnaire is going to ask you a lot of questions about your living habits generally. So how often do you want to hang out with your roommate at college? You might not know that yet, but just give it a whirl. Your sleeping habits. So do you really like to go to bed late? Do you like to go to bed really early? Temperature in your room, how frequently you might think you want to have guests, things like that. The really cool thing that the housing portal allows you to do is to actually search through other first-year students by these questions. And so if you are really someone who cannot go to bed before midnight, maybe you want to take a look around as you're searching for roommates and look for someone who goes to bed late just like you do. And so we are going to take a look at how to actually find a roommate in the housing portal. So say I am coming into Mary Washington and I went to Destination UMW this Saturday and I met someone who I just absolutely know that I want to live with. Once I have started my application and once they have started their application, I can go and find them in the housing portal and make a roommate group with them. If you have a preferred roommate that you want to live with in the fall, you will need to make a roommate group with them by May 15th. And so if you know the person, you are going to go down to the right-hand bottom corner of the roommates page, and you are going to search for roommates by details. I know that Hunter's name in the housing portal is Hulk. And so I am going to look up his web name, and here he is. So I can see that he's also a freshman. And he said, "I'm Hulk, hear me roar," as the little blurb that he wanted people to read about him. So back on that roommate matching questionnaire page at the bottom is a little place for you to free response. So if you really love mountain climbing and you want people to know that about you, put that in your thing, or say, "I really want to have a roommate who goes to bed late." Whatever you want to put there, feel free. And so I am going to, maybe I want to send Hunter a message. So I'm going to click compose message, just in case you guys didn't see that. We're back here. And I'm going to send him a message. Hi, let's be roommates. Hunter will get this in his housing portal, and he should also get it as an email to his UMW address. And the way I'll show you guys how to find those messages later. And then if I wanted to actually add Hunter as a roommate, I would click join group. This is going to send Hunter a request to create a roommate group together. Hunter has to go into his housing portal and accept that request in order for us to be roommates together. Oops, sorry. Okay, so we are going to cancel this request. Say that I decided that I don't want to live with Hunter anymore and I want to look for someone else because I want to keep my options open. This is where we can use those questions to search for other people. So search for roommates by profiles. I prefer to go to bed very early. And that's the only thing I want to look for. And look, all of these people come up. I'm not going to show them to you, but options that you could select for roommates. So it's just a really neat tool. Definitely feel free to play around with it. It's also important to note that as people, get accepted to Mary Wash and decide that they're coming here and begin their housing applications, your options for roommates are going to increase. So right now you may see a dozen, 50 other people in there. After, as people are added into the housing portal, the options will increase. So just keep that in mind, and stay encouraged. Okay, I'm gonna try to go all the way back down. Also, there is a suggest roommates option. Sorry. Okay. So that's a little bit about the roommate matching questionnaire. Does anyone have questions about how to actually search for a roommate in the housing portal while we're here? Okay. If you do not choose a roommate, you will be randomly assigned with a roommate. That is correct. All right.
And CC, real quick, that's why it's important everybody fills out all the profile questions. If you only fill out a handful of the profile questions, then when you're assigned a roommate that you haven't met yet, that match may not be as good as what it could be. So.
Great point. Okay. So then we are going to go to the contract. So first year students will live on campus for their first 2 years at Mary Washington. Just keep that in mind as you're filling this out. If you are under the age of 18, then you will have a second page that this contract goes to after you sign it. It'll go to whoever your approved signer is, and then it'll come back after they have signed it, and you'll be finished with the application. And then you'll be here on the application status page, and it will tell you that you're complete, and more information will be on this page once you are assigned. So after you have received your housing assignment, or really as soon as you are assigned, you will be able to see that here in the housing portal, which is very convenient. So with that, let's open up the floor for questions.
Do y'all mind if I unmute?
Sure.
So I had a question regarding housing accommodations. I tried looking at stuff like on your website, but I couldn't really find like a list of like, this is an example of a housing accommodation, because I tend to think of, when you hear housing accommodations, you think of like, oh, this person needs an elevator because they have mobility issues. But I have a lot of mental health issues and disabilities, and I didn't know if that would apply to housing accommodations.
Hunter, you want to take that one?
I have to admit, I was answering a question in the chat. I'm sorry, can somebody repeat the question?
I was just asking like what would count as a housing accommodation, because I know there are things like, oh, this person may need an elevator because they have mobility issues, but I have mental health issues. And so like I was trying to see if there's a thing that I can do to make sure that I'm in one of the smaller houses or have spaces that are accommodating for my needs.
Sure, it's a great question. So one of the first things you want to do is you want to connect with the Office of Disability Resources, or ODR is what we call them. And there's a process that any of the students can go through to say, hey, I've got this registered disability, not registered, but I've got this disability. And then they will go through that process and determine what accommodation would work for you, right? And if you are granted an accommodation, then they just tell us what that accommodation is, and we work with you on getting you placed into that accommodation. So sometimes it's a single room, sometimes it is consideration for location, so maybe the placement on campus, access to an elevator, access to a kitchen. But we do know that we work with a lot of students, with mental health, disabilities or needs, and ODR is, they're very good at what they do. So if you haven't yet, reach out to ODR, Office of Disability Resources, and they should be able to help you through that process.
Thank you.
So a couple of questions have come in. Let's see, I'm going to try to keep up with this. So somebody's asked, are you going to be living in the same dorm as your FSEM class? And that is not going to be the case this year. So again, you'll be able to select the dorm that you want to be in. What we found were a lot of people were selecting particular FSEMs in particular buildings to make sure they get those buildings. So we're just going to go ahead and work off of the buildings that you'd like to be in. There will be, chances that other people in your FSEM are in those buildings. And then classes will be, kind of as an FSEM together. But the living pod itself is not something we're doing this year.
Alec had a great question. Just to be clear, we can add roommates after completing the application, right? And yes, you will be able to edit the roommates page and search around for roommates after you complete the application. It will just be very important to have that roommate selection finalized by May 15th.
So somebody asked, if a hall has triples or quads, can I choose to only be in a double? Absolutely. By default, you're going to be assigned to a double. And it's one of those things that that we want everybody to know. As an incoming first-year student, the vast majority of our incoming first-year students have roommates, right? Almost everybody is assigned to a double room. We do have 2 triples, I think, on campus in one of our first-year halls. But we ask that students who want that sort of living situation, they're going to opt into it. So we'd ask that you email us directly and say, hey, I'd like to be in the triple in Westmoreland. But other than that, pretty much everybody else will be assigned to a double room.
The policy for nursing students and freshman year. Stephen, do you happen to know this answer? Nursing students in their first year, if there is the vehicle policy?
I don't believe the classes at Germana start until your sophomore year. But if you were in the nursing program, the accommodation would more than likely be, given that you would need a vehicle because you would have additional classes that would exist off campus at some point. So whether it be your freshman or sophomore year, just again, it's an accommodation that we can probably make happen because we know you have to be able to commute back and forth.
Yeah, parking management would be the place to get some more information on that question. I'll put their information down here in the chat. So parking management is the office that manages the parking exemptions for first years. Yeah, can you talk a little bit more about the residence halls? That is a great question. So a couple of main differences between our halls. So we have suite style halls and we have hall style halls. Suite style halls are going to be 2 double rooms adjoined by a bathroom in the middle. And so if I'm in this bedroom, I will open up the door, go into a shared bathroom between me, my roommate, and my 2 suite mates. And then my suite mates will also have a door out of that bathroom into their room. So 2 bedrooms, bathroom in the middle. And then a hall style is where you have your bedroom off the hallway and then a larger communal style bathroom out also off the hallway. In Willard Hall, we have these awesome hall bathrooms that are European style. Am I getting those mixed up? Nope.
Virginia is the European.
Okay. Virginia Hall has these awesome hall bathrooms with European style stalls. And so like the walls go from floor to ceiling, which gives you just a ton of privacy. That was a completely different experience than I had in Virginia my first year. Although even my first year in Virginia with an older bathroom was totally fine. Willard Hall actually has these really neat bathrooms on the wings and down the hallways, which are individual but have a full bathroom set in them. So a full shower, full anything that you could need, which I think is just a really great option. So something else to keep in mind about the difference between suite style and hall style is that hall style bathrooms are cleaned regularly by our staff our building attendant staff. And so you're not going to have to necessarily worry about getting in, every other week and scrubbing your shower, which is nice. Your suite style bathrooms, you're going to be responsible for cleaning those. And so often we see suite mates will like make a schedule of sorts, our room will clean it this week, your room will clean it next week. However, you guys kind of figure it out. Yeah.
Did you talk about the renovations? You did, didn't you? Sorry, I'm answering all these other questions, so I'm not paying attention.
I didn't specifically mention the renovations, but the reason why Virginia and Willard are so cool and that I was bringing it up is because they are newly renovated to varying degrees, but they are awesome. So if you guys have a chance to come to campus, if you're coming for destination, or if you are, just happen to be in the area or want to come up before orientation, definitely let us know and we can show you around, or there will be tours this weekend. How many girls share a hall bathroom? Great question.
Oh, so it varies. We know that typically at UMW the male to female ratio, for lack of a better term here, is 2 to 1. So we tend to have more people that identify as female or non-binary as we do male or non-binary. So to answer the question, it really is difficult to say. The bathrooms are set up to handle, they've got 4 showers, 4 commodes, 4 sinks. We know that we are not running into issues with that. We've not heard of any issues. Everybody has their schedule so staggered that you're never waiting for a shower, you're never waiting for a commode or a sink. So I would have to say off the top, 35 per bathroom would be my guess. And then some of our buildings, that are communal style bathrooms also have additional single-use bathrooms on the floors. The bathrooms are not co-ed. They are set for male and female gender. That is something that Virginia building code has required of us. The reason why we had the floor to ceiling partitions is we thought we were going to be able to move away from that. So right now it's set to the binary of male or female.
Which halls are all girls? That is a good question. So this year, Ball Hall will be our all female hall. And Ball Hall and Custis Hall are our all female halls. And yeah, so both of those are suite style as well. And are always extremely popular every year. Ball and Custis definitely fill up every year. And we will reach out to you with more information after you opt into the community. Generally, I will let you know that generally we do have more interest in those communities than we have space for. And so again, we'll reach out to you with information, but it will just be a conversation that we have. There are only a certain number of people that can get into the building and we want to accommodate everyone. But we'll work with other people to on their assignment if you're not able to get into one of those halls.
We can't finish early. There's got to be more questions. So a couple of people have asked if the halls are split by gender per floor. They're actually going to be split by per room or per suite. So it's, we will have a mix of people living on every floor in the halls. Doing okay? This is
Wow.
this is exciting. This is our first first session of the year. It's always exciting. Like I said, I'm seeing a few names here that I've already corresponded with via email, which is always nice. We're just super excited to have people on campus, especially as we're coming out of COVID. Like there's just a much more vibrant community than there has been recently. So yeah, we're just always super excited to have these things. We're super excited to see people at Destination UMW if you're coming this weekend or if you're going to be coming in April. So yeah, we'll be doing tours of the residence halls this Saturday. And I think, Cece, do you remember the times that we're doing those tours?
I believe the tours are at 12. Stephen, can you help us confirm that one? You're muted.
Could you say the question again? I'm sorry.
The times for the residence hall tours this weekend.
Oh gosh. I would need to pull up the schedule. I know that we can, I think there's multiple ones, so I would have to look that up. In all honesty, I don't know it off the top of my head. But I know you can look it up on like the destination. You can literally just type in destination day UMW and the date and like into Google, and it'll take you probably to the direct page that has all the information of all the tours and stuff. But I can try and pull it up. I just don't want to mess with the recording of the meeting. So
Yeah, sure. Okay, our off-campus options available after the second year. So you are able to live off campus if you decide to do that after your sophomore year. We don't provide specific off-campus options, but your requirement is the first 2 years, and so after that it's up to you. Something to note though is that we do offer housing for all 4 years if you are getting your applications turned in by the deadline, which is not typical of other schools. It's honestly pretty convenient to know that you have a confirmed house and place to stay next year. We've heard the past few years it getting increasingly difficult for folks to find places off campus. And so you're guaranteed to have a place. Your rent is once a term, and it's real nice. We also do have apartment style housing on campus for your upper class years. They're kind of located at the ends of campus, just like you would find off campus living in an apartment. So definitely check those out during your first year as you're looking into housing selection for your second. So if you were in a suite, the other dorm might be the opposite gender. Did we already get through that one? But I'm going to answer it again. So if you're in a suite, both rooms that are adjoining to the bathroom are going to be the same gender. So you're going to be using the restroom with someone of the same gender. If I invite I started typing an answer to Cassidy, but I didn't finish it yet. Oh, okay. So if you invite someone to a group on the application, does that make them my roommate? Hunter answered, but I'll just explain a little bit. If you send someone an invite to their group, they're going to have to accept that invite before you guys are confirmed a pair. And so sending the roommate group invite is the start of being roommates. Them accepting it is the confirmation that we now know that you all want to be assigned together and will place you into the same room.
To use outdated language that the parents will know, but the students may not, or the parents or guardians may know, and the students may not. You have to accept the friend request to be in the same roommate group. So,
do residence halls close for breaks? They do. So during Thanksgiving, winter break, spring break, and summer, the residence halls will close. We work with students who may need housing during those times to remain on campus, but the residence halls generally do close for breaks.
Yeah, and I'd say that, let's say during the winter break, we had 300 people scheduled who have signed up, registered to remain on campus during the winter break for a number of reasons. We don't ask you to justify why you need to remain on break. It started off as people who had housing insecurity. The one thing to know, though, if you do remain in housing over break, services at the university generally shut down, right? So the dining hall may not be available, a writing center, all those sorts of things. None of those things will be available. So you are electing to stay on campus where you're going to provide your own food and provide your own way to well, not provide your own way to cook it. We have kitchens in every residence hall, but just to know, no health services and stuff like that. So a lot of people, just go home or they go someplace else for the winter break, or for fall or Thanksgiving, or spring. But yeah, you're able to register if you need to.
Just as a quick update, I was able to get that information for Destination Day on Saturday. Tour will be at 1:30 in the afternoon.
So here's one of my favorite questions, and a couple of people put this into the chat. Lofting the beds, right? So loft kits, you'll be able to order those ahead of time. So as you're going through our website, you'll be able to find a place where you can register to have a loft kit dropped off. If you don't do it ahead of time, it's not a big deal. You just let us know the day that you move in that you're looking for a loft kit. It may take us a little time to sort out all the stuff and get it to you. But if you've registered beforehand, that loft kit should be waiting for you when you arrive to move in. The beds are relatively easy to loft. I do certainly recommend at least 2 people do this. And so the kit comes in, 3 pieces. Basically, it's going to be an additional headboard, additional footboard, which acts as the bottom piece of the loft, and then there's a stabilizer bar that goes across the back. So what you would need to do is have somebody be able to lift up one end and put it onto the foot, and lift up the other and put it on the foot as well. The beds themselves are adjustable. So let's say you don't have a loft, but you want to make sure your bed is up high enough that you can put your dressers underneath it. Those beds are adjustable. And again, I would think 2 people are going to be the best way to handle those lofts. If you find yourself in a situation where you do not have 2 people, reach out to your RA, and your RA can either put you in touch with myself or put you in touch with somebody that can help out. So the difficulty, 4. I'll give it a 4 on a 1 to 10 rating there. I'm going to start rolling. CC, you want to jump on these? I'd love to hear myself talk.
Are straighteners and blow dryers allowed?
Yes, as long as they have an auto off feature on them. I mean, and I think most blow dryers you just turn off, but if you have a straightener or a curling iron, it has to have an auto off function on it. And certainly use it with the bathroom. Do not use it on your bed, which we've seen people do, but they are allowed. The question came up about room size, if all the rooms are the same size, and the easy answer, no. The more complicated answer is that they vary in size. I think in general, you would walk into a room and feel that in that building, they're all the same size, but a room in a room in Randolph may not be the same size as a room in Westmoreland, may not be the same size as a room in Virginia.
For Cassidy, if you add more than 1 person, that's a good potential roommate. Whoever's the first to accept it is my roommate. That is a great question. I don't know that I've experienced sending multiple requests. So I'll have to get back to you, but if you have sent multiple requests, let me know. But if you are able to send multiple requests, then yes, the first person who would accept you would be in a roommate group with. Here's the thing, even if someone accepts and you are now in a roommate group with them, you can still leave that group. So you're able to edit that roommate group page all the way up until May 15th.
So the university does not have a rental system for mini fridges, but you certainly are able to bring 1 mini fridge per room. Those mini fridges, and it seems to vary in size. I say 4.7 cubic feet. Some people say 4.6 cubic feet, and some people say 4.2. cannot be larger than 4.7. Can certainly be smaller than 4.7. But yeah, it's something that you would need to bring yourself. So I always recommend the roommates talk to each other and then have your roommate bring the fridge.
Marlo had a great question about when you would turn in that request for the loft kit. That form will come out over the summer once you have your housing assignment. And we'll be planning for that for move-in. Hot pots, are hot pots allowed, Hunter?
They are not.
Microwave is a no as well. Mini fridge is a yes. Oh, did you just answer all of those?
No, just the mini fridge one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Coffee pot is same as the straightener and curling iron question. The coffee pot has to have an automatic off.
Yeah, so basically we don't allow exposed coils or exposed flames. We don't allow any flames of that kind for that matter, but no exposed coils. So if you've got, like, say a tea kettle that you like to put on to boil hot water, that has to be an enclosed system. It cannot be exposed coils. Somebody had asked, there's been a couple of questions about the way the buildings are set up. Cece talked a little bit about the suites. So the suites are going to be set up as a single gender. The suite on one side or the suite on the other side, the suite across the hall could be the opposite gender as the suite that you're in. The floors are all going to be co-ed. So if you look at, Randolph, Westmoreland, Virginia, or Willard, all the floors are co-ed.
Let's see. The residence halls are smoke and vape free.
There was a question about a parking pass. And so I don't know if this is a parking pass for the semester or a parking pass during move-in. So first year students are not allowed to have cars on campus. But if you've got questions about the parking pass, I would reach out to our parking services. If you go to the Googles and you type in UMW parking services, it should come up. You'll be able to send an email to May, and May should be able to get back to you about any questions you have with parking.
I think I meant to put in that contact info earlier. If we do a random roommate, will we find out who they are before move-in day? Great question. If you do not make a roommate group in the housing portal will assign you with someone as you are assigned into your building. And so you will find out who they are before move-in day. When you receive your housing assignment email, you can log back into the housing portal, go to your application status page, so the last page, and you'll be able to see your assignment there. What you will also be able to see is the name of your roommate, whatever screen name they have created for the housing application process. And you'll be able to message them, just like I messaged Hunter earlier, and say, hi, my name is Cece. It looks like we're roommates. My preferred contact information is cell phone, and also I have this Instagram. How do you want to chat? And generally that works out pretty well.
I'm going to knock out two real quick here. One of the questions is on the housing applications, it asks if we are allergic to animals. Curious about what the policy of animals on campus was. So we do not allow pets in the residence halls at all, unless it's a fish, and that fish can only be contained maximum a 10-gallon tank. So we don't allow students to bring pets. However, if a student goes through ODR and they are given the ability to bring an emotional support animal on campus, then that is absolutely allowed. ODR would say, Hunter has been approved for an emotional support animal. And so one of the reasons we ask that question is really just in case. We can't always guarantee everything, but we do try to take a look at, when we're pairing up roommates, if somebody has an ESA, we try to take a look to see if somebody's allergic or has no preference either way. If there is an issue between somebody who has an ESA and somebody who is allergic to animals, just reach out to us and we will happily rectify that situation. There will be carts available on move-in. So the question was, will there be hand trucks available on move-in day? We do have these carts, and so they are these large cardboard bins that are on moving dollies, and so you'll be able to put your stuff in there and move those along. Please feel free to bring your own hand truck if you find that to be easier. It may be quicker. Some people have to. Sometimes we have a line waiting for those moving dollies or those cardboard boxes. So you certainly can bring your own, but if you don't, there'll be something available for you.
I'm not sure what questions we have or haven't answered in your spiel.
And I keep answering questions you've already answered in writing.
Parking, there are specific parking rules for move-in day. Move-in day is a day like no other, and we are so excited for it. We will actually, you'll get all of this in emails and written instructions and which streets to take and which entrances to come into campus on. But we'll actually have you like drive up onto campus and park in front of your building. And we'll have a ton of volunteers around to help you with moving in and out, or just to assist if you need help with a loft maybe. So yes, there will be specific parking for a move-in. We will let you know, and you'll be able to, there's a bunch of designated spots for you to be moving in. We also generally, yes, there will be more information coming out. Did you answer the coffee pots and kitchens, Hunter?
I did not.
So are they able to bring a coffee pot into the main kitchen and leave it there?
Yeah, so certainly you run the risk of leaving anything in the kitchen that somebody else may walk off with it. We do have an honor policy at UMW, and most students are they follow that to the letter. But you are able to have a coffee pot in your room. You can have a Keurig in your room. The coffee pot, again, cannot have exposed coils, needs to have an automatic off switch so that it turns off if it's been left unattended. But the like a 1-cup coffee maker, absolutely fine. Actually, Cece may even have one behind her desk. I can't remember if it's still over there or not. But yeah, those are certainly allowed. I think we mentioned before, microwaves are not allowed. And everybody, this is great. As I'm looking, everybody else is answering other people's questions. This is fantastic. This is what the UMW community is all about.
Yeah. There's internet access in the halls. There is our Wi-Fi is called Apogee, specifically for inside the residence halls. You can connect a few devices to that. There are also Ethernet cables.
Yeah, so the connection, I think you were given, if I remember right, 20 megabits to share between your devices. I think you can register up to 7 devices. I believe there is a tier that you can sign up for that is larger than that. If I remember right, our wired connections are going to be 100 megabit. If you are in esports, or if you're a member of the esports for the university, there will also be a practice room that you'll be able to use that has high-speed, everything's high-speed internet these days, that has a dedicated internet for esports. So laundry, did you already answer laundry, Cece?
No.
So each of the residence halls will have laundry facilities. They're generally located on a single floor. So Willard, it would be in the basement. Virginia, it's also in the basement. And basement is not a one light bulb sort of thing. It's a finished basement. It's really nice. In Randolph, they'll be on the 2nd floor. In Westmoreland, they are also in the basement, which we recently renovated over there. They are all done through an app. So it's not card or coin. You will actually use the Speed Queen app, something you download from the App Store or from Google Play, and then you would actually add money to that app, and then that app will say, hey, this washer is open. You be able to put your stuff in there, pay for it. It'll give you a notification, hey, your laundry's done, be able to go pick it up. But that's all going to be done through Speed Queen. Yeah, and every floor does have an RA or 2, depending which building that you're in. See, and CC already answered. I'm already answering questions that CC answered already. Hopefully,
it's good to get information in multiple ways. We all
I
know
just
that.
hope the answers are the same, though. That's the trick.
Okay, we are nearing the end. So just get your last minute questions in. We have just a few more minutes. Also, if there's anyone who hasn't changed their screen name to their first and last name, go ahead and do that so we can make sure you are checked in for this session.
So the windows do have blinds or screens, yeah, I think they're all not floor to ceiling, but they cover the entire window. In Westmoreland, there are window units for the air conditioning, so the screens will actually come down, kind of part way, but there should be an opaque window next to that. In terms of laundry, we do not supply anything. Kind of like with the suite style bathroom, you need to provide all of your own toiletries and toilet tissues and cleaning supplies. With the laundry, you would need to provide your own detergents and laundry softener and stuff like that. They are twin extra long beds, by the way. The question's been asked, are they twin or twin XL? They're twin XL.
You want to respond to, can you have a locked cabinet in the kitchen, Hunter?
Sure. So not all of our kitchens are set up in a way where you can have a locked cabinet or drawer, and we see a tremendous sense of community where people are sharing some of their supplies and they're sharing some of their pots and pans. But in Willard and Virginia, we do have the ability for you to put your belongings into a drawer and put a padlock on that drawer. They are first come, first serve. In Randolph and in Westmoreland, they are slightly older kitchens, and so they do not have that ability. But again, we've not run into a situation where students have found their item missing. We do always warn people about leaving your items there, but food and condiments and all that stuff tends to stay in the kitchen. Yeah, you certainly have snacks in your hall, in your dorm, in your room, and always encouraged. The one thing we ask is please just make sure that those snacks are contained in something like maybe an airtight container. So let's say you really like granola bars. Please don't leave the granola bars just sitting out. Please don't leave wrappers in the trash. We want to make sure we avoid pests in the residence hall. So we certainly encourage you to keep your snacks into their own containers. And when you're done, please take out your trash.
Your residence halls are going to be accessed via your Eagle One card. And so that's your student ID card that you're going to get at orientation. Only that is how you access those halls. You are welcome to bring in guests and have friends over if you'd like. If they're your friend, they don't have access to the hall, then you're bringing them in. And so it's a community responsibility to, not monitor, but, if you're bringing in a guest, you're making that decision to bring in a guest. So yes, you will access your hall via your student card.
So two quick other ones. So Madison and Custis Ball, they all have the same amenities as all of our other residence halls. So there'll be a stove, an oven, microwave, and all those sorts of amenities are going to be in all the kitchens. There's a question about having a lockbox on campus for storing medication or anything else that somebody wants to store. And that is absolutely fine. The one caveat there is you cannot mount it to the wall or to our furniture. So what we see people do and kind of encourage this as a good idea is we'll find people that have like a tackle box or a locking box that has a handle on it or a place to put kind of a bike lock. Take that bike lock and put it through the leg of your bed or put it through part of your ladder. That way somebody can't walk off with your lockbox, and then that lockbox is something that you would lock with your own padlock.
The rooms come with trash cans standard, right?
They do.
Yep. So you'll have a trash can in your box.
Recycling.
In your room.
Yeah, it's not trash, it's recycling that we provide. You'll need to bring your own trash cans.
Oh, sorry about that.
All right, last few questions here.
There is somewhere to store a bike on campus. We have convenient bike storage in Mason Hall. Do you want to speak a little bit more about that?
Sure. So Randolph Hall has an indoor bike storage solution. Our other residence halls are going to rely on outdoor bike racks. We have a lot of those down near Brent House. I think we have a handful of other ones throughout campus. But like I said, Randolph does have their own bike room. It houses about 40 bikes. We do certainly suggest that you register that bike with UMW PD. So make sure it's on file just in case it does get stolen, and certainly use a U-lock or something comparable to secure your bike. All right. I know we have a lot of really good questions coming in. I think we're going to wind down here. So if you have questions about, residence life or housing, CC is a great resource. I am trying to be a great resource. So please feel free to reach out to either of us. CC is going to put our email addresses in the chat here. And then Stephen, if you want to talk about anything with admissions.
No, I think unless anybody has like a really pressing question, we don't have too much time. But if there is something real quick, if you want to ask, I can try my best. But I think this is really great. Just one last reminder, if you haven't yet, please change your screen names to first and last name. It looks like almost everybody has. Maybe I'm just, but no. Any last second questions or remarks, guys?
Thank you guys for coming so much. Can't wait to meet you over summer, fall, or maybe this weekend. If you're here this weekend, definitely stop by the University Center around noon and say hello.
Yep, I will be there as well. So if you want to say hi there, I will be there as well. Not in the same place, but on Saturday.
Thanks so much.
Have a great night, everybody.